Good evening, everybody. Good to see everybody up in the room. Tamika's here, Timothy, John, Isaiah. How's everybody doing? My name is Andrew Goodman. I'm one of the partners here at Secret Entourage. If you follow us on any of the major social networks, what you see coming out is from me. I know we're on a little bit of a delay here, but if everybody in the room, if you can hear me, please type yes into the chat box and just let me know that everything's working okay, and I'll introduce our presenter for the evening. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. With us is one of my favorite people in the whole world, Andres Ocampo. He's been a member of the Secret Entourage Academy for quite some time now. I've gotten to know this young man over the past couple of years, and he and his partner, David, co-founded the brand Entrepreneur Clothing. They're not a fan of vowels, but they are a fan of entrepreneurship, the entrepreneur lifestyle, and I'm sure a lot of you already own their clothing, especially if you follow Secret, because we are tight with these guys. So what we're going to do here is let Andres give you his presentation. At the very end, if you guys hang on, we're going to do a Q&A, and I'll be asking your questions to Andres. Yes, Nads, this will be recorded. So I'll be asking your questions to Andres, and we'll take it from there. So guys, hold all your questions till the end. We will be here hanging out, doing plenty of Q&A after the presentation. So without further ado, Andres, take it away.
What's going on? What's going on, everyone? It's a pleasure to be here. Before we start, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is in attendance right now. This has been a project that has been under wraps for a little over 8 months now. So I just want you guys to know that I put everything into this, and I hope that you guys really draw value from the information that I put out tonight. And if you stick until the end, like we'll mention in a bit, we will be doing a full Q&A. So if you guys have any questions throughout the entire presentation, be sure to write those down so you don't forget them, and I'll be happy to answer all of them. So welcome, guys. This is a presentation. It's a webinar on how to launch a 6-figure clothing brand in 6 months without experience or design skills. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we start, I want to tell you guys just my promise to you, and that's that I vow to show you exactly how to launch a successful clothing business without needing, to get funding or having any experience whatsoever in the market. And that's even if you don't know how to design. I'm going to share with you guys a bunch of secrets that you can use to get started right now. And without further ado, let's get started. So if you guys stay until the end, I'm going to give you my top performing t-shirt model so that you can inspire yourself. We're going to be doing a little giveaway. We're going to be doing a few shirts that are going to be given away. So be sure to stay to the end. And I'm going to show you guys how you can get those shirts. I believe there's a Bitly link, Andrew. I think Andrew has it. He'll drop it in the chat whenever it's ready to go. So you guys can check out how you can get those free shirts. So let's get started. Before everything, I want you guys, if you are very serious, turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook, turn off everything, and listen very closely to what I'm about to say. If you're serious, you guys will stick around. If not, you'll probably end up dropping off within the first 5-10 minutes. So let's get started. I want to start off by talking a little bit about myself. I know you guys are wondering, who is this guy and why should I listen to anything he has to say? So my name is Andres Ocampo. I just turned 21 in December, a little over 2 months ago. I launched Entrepreneur at the tender age of 18 with David, my business partner David, whom a lot of you have already seen a bunch of times. And I put my fair share of the initial investment of Entrepreneur without a single penny. And I'll explain to you guys how I did that in a second. But after the third semester of college, I ended up dropping out. I didn't see, a need for it. And I know PJ is always talking about it. I was a nominee for the Secret Academy Challenge 2.0 in 2016. I was one of the 4 finalists That was incredible. It was an incredible journey, and we're definitely running this year around again. Um, and so, yeah, in the last 12 months, the first 12 months of business, David and I turned Entrepreneur into a six-figure company. And today, the brand is being worn by countless celebrities like Nicky Jam, Justin Quiles, Flo Rida, Travis Barker, and some other high-profile people. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I want you guys, before we start, I want to do like a little exercise with you guys. And if you look at the slides that I'm showing you guys right here, I want you guys to really imagine if you could, have all the freedom and money that you could ever want, since, you have a business working for you, instead of your traditional 9 to 5, working for a boss job in a corporate setting. I want you guys to imagine all the freedom and money that you could ever want, since you have a business producing for you. And I want you to imagine if you would never have to worry about being stuck or overwhelmed with not knowing what to do again. I want you to guys imagine that. Imagine not being stuck or overwhelmed because you know exactly what to do. And also imagine if you could know exactly how to turn your ideas and hobbies into real businesses that generate income. This is a huge, huge important one. You want to make sure that your ideas aren't just ideas and that you're actually capitalizing on the ideas that come into play. And just, imagine what life would be like if you didn't have to worry about finances again, because at the end of the day, whether people admit it or not, financial freedom is a huge, huge major part in being not only mentally happy, but also physically happy. So think about it. Would that make a difference, being financially free? Would that make a difference to you or your family? And just so you guys know, this is a major disclaimer. Results are not typical. And what I mean by that is you can sit here and you can listen to every single second of this entire webinar and all the information I'm going to give you guys. And I like I said, I vow to walk you through the system we're using, to get great results and everything that we've done in order to make entrepreneurs successful. But you have to understand that the results that we have gotten aren't typical. They're not average. And what I mean by that is if you sit here and you listen to everything and you do not take action, I promise you will fail. So if you're just going to sit here to watch and not take action or anything like that, then don't even bother watching. And I don't say this because I want to motivate you guys, because that's not my job. My job right now is to provide the value and the knowledge that I've been working on, because I want you guys to see it all, in hopes that you guys don't have any excuses to take further action. So this isn't, for the get rich quick people, or, the how I make $20,000 in one day people, or lazy amateurs. So let's get into it. So I want to talk about what exactly it is we're going to cover in the webinar. And there's three main secrets, guys. There's secret number one, and that's how to prepare yourself and your brand for success before you even launch it. So, like I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, when seeking to achieve greatness, preparation is absolutely essential. So you want to make sure that you're preparing yourself and your brand before you even launch your brand. Secret number two is how to reach a ton of people with bootstrap marketing budget. And what that means is absolutely like barely minimum amount of capital. And yes, it's definitely possible. Yes, you've probably heard that in order to launch a successful clothing brand, you need, 20, 30, 40, maybe even $50,000 for manufacturing charges and samples and all that. But it's definitely not true. I'm gonna share with you guys the secrets on how to do that with very little money. And secret number three is how to find the best designers and pay pennies on the dollars for amazing shirt designs. So you don't, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes, but you do not need to be a designer. You don't have to be proficient in Photoshop or Illustrator or any programs of that nature. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to achieve that without, having that experience. So secret number one is how to prepare yourself and your brand for success before you even launch it. So listen, guys, most young people think the best way to launch their business is to, gather a bunch of capital and all that, and have a bunch of investors or seed capital or anything of that nature. But the reality is, you do not need money. And the way that we launched Entrepreneur, we launched it with $3,000 in capital. So, taking a look from the outside, you see a brand that's doing six figures in sales, yet they've managed to turn $3,000, into six figures and keep expanding that brand and that company. So the way we did it was David invested $1,500 and I didn't have the rest of the money. So I kind of just took a credit card under my name. And I don't recommend you guys do this. I took a credit card under my name. They gave me a $2,500 limit and I just maxed it out. So that was definitely, I don't recommend you guys do that. So here it is. Preparing your mindset for the journey. This is major. I've always believed that you must first master your mind before you can master the world. And what I mean by this, guys, is you must first master the one thing that we all have in common, and that's, the human mind. And so once you understand the workings behind all this, and human habit is when you can truly conquer anything that this world puts in your path. So you must be fully able to understand the core motivators or demotivators of your work ethic. And what I mean specifically with this bullet is you have to prep yourself. You have to prep yourself for all the troubles and trials that you're going to be undergoing throughout your journey. But if you learn how to pinpoint and target and eliminate the habits that cause you to be unproductive, and you double down on the habits that will lead you to victory, then the world is yours. So secret number one is also picking the correct niche. And, the truth is, success in such an overly saturated industry like that of the clothing business and industry always comes down to a specific theory. And the theory is, while your market in general, and listen to this, guys, this is important. The theory is, while your market in general, the clothing market, may be oversaturated, there still exists niches in that market where there is a community of people who share a common interest or belief, right? So what I mean is, like, maybe you're a fan of muscle cars or tattoos or maybe even traveling. By you really narrowing into something that truly interests you and creating a brand based on that interest, you're automatically in a much less populated field where competition is at the end of the day, limited. So this is where you put your flag into the ground and begin building that community of followers, people who are interested in tattoos or muscle cars or anything like that nature. And so the next secret is, coming up with a great name for your brand. And this is something that's often overlooked. It's, coming up with a great name for your brand. It's crucial. And while most people are too quick to jump the gun and, name their brand something that they resemble with or they think is cool or something that really, they can stick with, the problem with that is the chances of a brand or entity already named with what you came up with is highly likely. And so that what that means is you may crash into conflicts with future legal matters. So, when you go to trademark or anything like that, you're going to end up hitting a wall. So you want to make sure that you come up with that great name for your brand, and you take all the necessary steps in order to ensure that the future life of your brand remains intact. So here's secret number two, and that's how to reach a ton of people with bootstrap marketing, and that's very little capital. Like I said, we only started with $3,000, and later in the guide, this is all going to be. I'll leave that for you guys to really understand what's going on, but there's going to be a part of this webinar where you're going to understand just how much we launched Entrepreneur with, and there's going to be numbers and everything included. So be sure to stick around for that. So listen to this. It's how to launch your brand with a bang. And what you don't want to leave is your brand to chance. Your debut, the debut of your brand, you definitely don't want to leave that to chance. The last thing you want to do is launch your brand, on a moment's notice without any built up anticipation or previously built following. So you want to avoid acting on impulse and, start acting on preparation. And that's just not, launching a brand, that's everything in life. You want to be sure that you're acting on something that you've already put a lot of thought into. The next one is how, most young entrepreneurs think that they need to spend a ton of money on marketing or advertising if they really want to sell their clothes. And the answer is that's false. The truth is that's really false. The idea that you need thousands of dollars and endless amounts of capital in order to start up your own company or brand is all bullshit. I have friends who have built 6 and 7 figure companies without a dime. My friend Damien started from scratch. David Wonke, left his corporate job. Kiran, he, did his own thing. So you don't need money. So unlearn society's idea that you need a shit ton of money to start your own business, as the fact is these are just people telling you, excuses as to why they never could do it themselves. And when you really discover the power of networking, leveraging relationships and marketing strategies, that's what ultimately is what's going to lead your brand to success. So point blank is you don't need tons of money to sell your clothes, period. And in fact, you don't need to have, you don't need to spend a bunch of money to reach lots of people. You just have to have great messaging and a great content. Your vision is what's at the end of the day important. It's not about the brand, it's what the brand stands for and the vision you're trying to convey to get others to be a part of. The vision is what will sell your clothes, and great content will be what will, ultimately differentiate you from the competition. And so, like I said, what did we do to launch Entrepreneur was, we had $3,000 in startup capital. Like I mentioned, David put 1,500. I didn't have anything, so I just maxed out my credit card. And you guys just have to make sacrifices. Like, it hasn't been easy for me, obviously. I didn't have money, and I had to get a job as a server at a PF Chang's serving, people fucking food every day. But those are the types of sacrifices that you have to make in order to make your vision a reality. And it's only you. It's all up to you. If my vision is to build a globally recognized brand, and I'm willing to do anything in order to make that happen. And if that means, taking people's shit at a restaurant every day, then, you got to do what you got to do. So here's the second part of secret number 2, and that's how to find your core message. This is important. The hardest part about building a brand is identifying the core message behind it. It's the hardest part. Sharing and transmitting this message with the rest of the world is even harder. So you can't get frustrated when it isn't unveiling the way you want it to. But what you want to do when solidifying your brand message is simple. You jot down everything that comes to your mind when it comes to your motivation behind building your brand. Is it your insatiable obsession with muscle cars? Your undying desire to share your travel experiences through clothing? Whatever it is, referring back to what I was saying, you like cars, tattoos, traveling. Your strong belief behind representing a certain community of people, or just anything, write it all down without restraint onto a piece of paper, because this is what's going to really help you come up with that vision. Now, once you've already written everything down without restraint, you want to reread everything. You want to reread everything you've written and realize that if you truly have a motivator behind the creation of your brand, it will become very apparent in your writing, and it will eventually pop out and speak to you. And what I mean by that is, when you're writing something down passionately, eventually you're going to find the nuggets and the I guess you could say, like, the correlations in your writing about the vision that you have. And so just remember, you have to sell the brand for what it represents. Don't focus on selling the clothing. Sell the vision you have and the passion you put into creating your brand. That's what ultimately is your core message. Don't try to don't spend too much time thinking about cheesy shit. Just put down what you see, what makes sense in your head, what you truly believe in, the passion behind everything, what it really took to create everything, and that's going to be your core message. And so another part of the secret is how to create amazing content. So at the end of the day, guys, everything comes back to just how much work are you willing to put in. You have to ask yourself that question. because amazing content stems from just how far you're willing to go to create it, right? So it doesn't come from $10,000 cameras or, hiring professional photographers or directors. You don't need any of that. And the truth is, we've built Entrepreneur. Not a lot of people know this, but we've built Entrepreneur with a 5-year-old fucking DSLR camera that David bought like 5 years ago for $1,000. So you can get the same exact camera, the T4i Rebel, I think it's called. You can get that same camera for like $400 nowadays. And we've built Entrepreneur with that. And even just recently, we started using our iPhone 7 Plus cameras just because they're so advanced and they're so great, and it gets the job done. We continue to take great content pictures and make shit happen with an iPhone 7 Plus camera. So just keep that in mind. You don't need to fixate yourself on the equipment, but rather focus on the creation of the content and the effort and the creativity that gets put into making it. Because this is where you truly will shine. You just got to let it run and don't focus so much on the technical stuff behind it. And the other point here is how to leverage social media. So social media is the most important tool you have when it comes to creating and launching your brand. And what I mean by that is when you create a brand, you have different avenues as to how you want to build that company. One of them is to build it on social. The other way is to build it through, wholesaling. But the social building of a brand is much more easier in terms of getting people to really see what you're all about and reaching, a certain demographic of people. So the idea that you can reach thousands, even millions of people worldwide via your phone, the phone in the palm of your hand, is insane, guys. So let's not overlook social media and the power behind it. And leveraging social media is key when it comes to building brand awareness. And you can do so through the process of getting, shout outs from other large accounts, or, doing collaborations, or I don't know, exchanging products for shout outs, paying for shout outs, even creating viral content. I have friends who have created viral videos and it gets shared, hundreds of thousands of times. And what people don't know is what's truly being marketed and advertised is their product. And so it just passes right by their head. So, there's countless ways to leverage social media. You just have to be creative when it comes to using social media to grow your brand. That really is what it boils down to, the creativity aspect behind leveraging that social media. And so right here in this slide, you're going to see a bunch of the pictures that we've taken for the brand. And the truth is, a bunch of these were taken on the iPhone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the 10 pictures were taken on our iPhone 7. And they're great pictures, so you don't downplay it and stop giving yourself excuses. And here it is. So this is secret number 3, and that's how to get amazing designs for pennies on the dollar, even if you can't design. Here we go. So most young, entrepreneurs think that they need to know how to design to create, amazing t-shirt designs that people love and see everywhere, even on the most famous brands. But like I was telling you guys earlier, that's definitely not true. Fortunately for me, when I first had the idea of Entrepreneur and I started it up, I kind of worked on it by myself, doing all the legal matters and all the back end stuff for about 4 or 5 days. But the problem arose when it came time to create a logo for the company. I didn't know shit about logo design, graphic design, or anything of that nature. So fortunately, I joined forces with my co-founder David, who he actually had a bit of experience with working, with some design programs that he had gotten from working at kind of like a homemade t-shirt print shop. It was the sketchiest shit in the world, but he got experience from that. And so, however, you yourself, you don't need to know how to design or use, expensive complex programs to create amazing shirts. In fact, you can actually find great designers that will do all of the heavy lifting for you, you know, for very little money, very little. And you can do that by, you know, there's outsourcing platforms that will actually help you find the help you need when it comes to designing your new shirt. And so these people on these outsourcing platforms have years and years and years of background knowledge in Photoshop and Illustrator and all these other programs. And the truth is, they're capable of creating any design you can articulately explain in words. So if you have a design in your head and you know exactly how to make that flow in words and how to put it into words and how you truly see that design in your head, these people will have the necessary experience to create that design for you. And because they're overseas, their services are going to be much less expensive than if they were, you know, domestic. So yeah, just like I said, you heard it right. There's actually people out there who have just as much knowledge. And listen to this, because this isn't bullshit. This is real stuff. There are people out there who have just as much knowledge as the lead designers for, you know, some of the biggest streetwear brands today, who are willing to work for you and with you to bring your designs to life. You just have to know how to do it, and you just have to know, you know, these outsourcing platforms. And so right here, this is these are some of the famous people who, some of the celebrities who are wearing our brand. On the left is Nicky Jam. Nicky Jam is the #1 artist in all of South America, Latin America, and the Hispanic community. I think he has like 16 million followers on Instagram. And Nicky's always rocking the gear. He always you know, buys a bunch of stuff from us. Great guy. And there's on the right is Flo Rida. Classic. He's kind of like a grandfather in the game. But there he is. That's with Stan Lee. Stan Lee's a creator of like some of Marvel's greatest characters, like Spider-Man, and I think he created the Hulk too. So guys, let me ask you a question. Are you guys enjoying the webinar so far? Give me feedback. Talk to me. Are you guys drawing value from this yet, or what? Talk to me. I know some people are asking about the outsourcing platforms and all that. So I'm going to reveal. So here it is. Here's how it works, right? There's services like Fiverr, or there's some other outsourcing platforms where I'm going to reveal pretty much some of the best places where you can get your designs brought to life for you and for very little money. One of these little known places is actually Design Crowd. It's a website with a network of over like, I think it's like 2,000 or 3,000 graphic, web, 3D designers worldwide. So they're perfectly compatible, you know, with your language. Like, unless you speak some crazy language that not many people will know, then for sure there's gonna be designers there. You know, these are people who work from all over the world, guys. So some of them for even pennies on the dollar. And it's a great place to get top notch, you know, grade A quality work for very little money. The place is called Design Crowd. Yeah, Design Crowd. And the cool thing is there's no contracts, you know, there's no setup fees, there's nothing. And just so you guys know, I'm not affiliated. I'm not getting paid, you know, to you know, support or give away, you know, these people or these services. I'm just telling you guys from our experience and what we've been through. So yeah, just so you know, I'm not getting paid to do any of this. Another great place to get design work is Fiverr, or Fiverr. I don't know how you pronounce it. We actually used Fiverr a bunch of times. For those who are familiar with Entrepreneur, if you guys have seen on some of our t-shirt designs, the bull was actually created on Fiverr. We worked with a guy who I believe was Russian. He was a designer from Russia. And what would have cost us, because we were getting quotes from, because this is custom design shit. Like, we're not artists. We can just create designs on Photoshop and all that. David can do it. But, you know, when it gets into more difficult stuff like actually drawing out a design, we have no knowledge on that. So we went on Fiverr and we found this web designer, graphic designer, and he was based out of Russia, and he spoke perfect English. So we actually ended up pretty much articulating, like I spoke about, the vision we had for the design, the bull design, and the guy just went to work, and in I think it was 24 hours, he had like 5 different uh, renders of the same exact design, and we paid very little money for it. And the cool thing is, most of these designer will give you, all the rights, and they'll also include, different, how do I call it, like different file formats. So you have a Photoshop, you have an Illustrator, a JPEG, a PDF, uh, all that stuff, so that you can now take that design in all your files and then run with it. So Fiverr is actually pretty cool. And what's cool is you pay. What's cool about Fiverr is you pay an agreed upfront payment for the work you're looking for. So the sellers that are offering you stuff, you come to an agreement with them, and then you pay a flat rate. So there's never any, oh, that wasn't what we agreed on, and it's pretty cool because their support system is actually really good too. And I'm going to give you guys one more outsourcing platform. So I hope you guys are writing these down, and I'll repeat them all at the end. But another good one is, it's a third website that I can suggest you guys, and it's called Upwork. I know a lot of people here have used Upwork before, for sourcing virtual assistants, or people, to manage their customer service for their company. I have a few friends who have built their companies. I have a friend who owns a tech company, and pretty much what he did was he outsourced these virtual assistants to handle all of his customer service. So instead of paying, 4 different people $50,000 a year to handle all his customer service, he paid, 4 overseas virtual assistants a fraction of that, and he still scaled his company to the millions. So that's cool. Yeah, Upwork has graphic designers, it has logo designers, it has everything. And what's cool about it is you work directly with the freelancers, and what's also cool is you have the option of agreeing on a set price for a job, or you can also pay them hourly. So whatever it is, whatever kind of work you need done, it always ends up working out in the end if you come to that agreement. So yeah, there's a bunch of fantastic quality producing freelancers on Upwork. So if you guys didn't catch them, the 3 websites are Design Crowd. The second one is Fiverr, Fiverr, or Fiverr, however the hell you say that. And then the third and final one that I'm going to reveal to you guys right now is called Upwork. And those are all great. So here's what we've covered so far in the webinar, guys. And it's cool, to see all the people that are still here. It tells me that you guys are, serious about this, and you're not fucking playing around. So we've covered secret 1, and that's how to prepare yourself and your brand for success before you even launch it. We covered secret number 2, and that's how to reach a ton of people with bootstrap marketing budget, so very little to no money. And that's secret number 3, and how to get your clothing line worn by celebrities, even if nobody knows you yet. And that's a key word. Yet, baby, don't forget it, because they're going to know exactly who you are. So guys, my question to you guys is, who wants to launch a successful brand in 6 months or less? Put it in the Q&A box. Show me, tell me. Let me hear you. Say I'm ready. Talk to me. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so listen up, guys. Here it is. This is what I've been working on for the last 8 months. My heart and soul. When I tell you guys that I have literally put everything into this, and by everything I mean busting my brain, fucking frying my eyes. My ass hurts from sitting so much in the last 8 months, and it sounds like a joke, but I've really put a lot of work into this, and I've literally, I want to say I've revealed a bunch of secrets that, industry or like leading brands wouldn't want to reveal, just because the market is so overly saturated. And the truth is, I don't see, if you guys have been following up on all the emails from me for Secret Entourage building up to this webinar, I don't see this course as as like a threat to myself or David or entrepreneur in terms of, you know, giving you guys the blueprint, because this really is what it is, what I consider the blueprint to building your own brand. I don't see it as a threat or like, oh shit, you know, dude, like we're going to create so much competition, because my vision, my goal, my ultimate goal with this was to give you guys the blueprint so that you have no excuse but to take action. There's no excuse. If you didn't do it, if you know you decided to run with it and buy into it and you didn't do it, was because you yourself talked yourself out of it, and at the end of the day you failed yourself. So my main goal is to give you the silver spoon. I want to take you by the hand and show you the way. That way, if you didn't do it, that's on you. And if you did do it, then you took action. You simply took action and you made it happen. So the how to on your first clothing brand course is all about helping you launch a successful clothing business and becoming a great entrepreneur fast. And that, I know how that might sound to you guys, like, oh, you know, launch your brand, 6 months, 6 figures, do it fast, become an entrepreneur fast. And like I said in the beginning, this isn't some get rich, you know, quick scheme or any of that shit. But what I mean specifically by that is we have spent the last 18 months of building an entrepreneur failing. We've spent it losing money. We've spent it putting money into the wrong places. We've spent it trying different marketing avenues and failing at them. At the end, losing money. We've tried everything. We've had a lot of failures, but then again, guys, we've had a lot of achievements and we've had a lot of, you know, successes. So when I say becoming a great entrepreneur fast and launching your business fast, I don't mean, hey, you know, this is a great, you know, do a quick scheme, but I mean, I am condensing everything that I know in the last 18 months. All my experiences are now condensed into this blueprint that my hopes is it will help you avoid all the mistakes and go directly for the successes. Even if you know absolutely nothing of the industry and you can design. And my goal for you is to do that in less than 60 days. Yes, I'm being completely fucking serious. Guys, in less than 2 months is my goal for you to get your very own brand up and running. And this was the ultimate goal in creating this course, to help you guys create that and then build on it. So here's what you're going to get. Here's what you're going to get, guys. You're going to get 40 plus HD videos. These videos were filmed with I believe it was a Nikon 6D or Mark III. It's a great ass camera. They're fully HD videos. The audio is crystal clear. That has a $497 value. You're going to get a step-by-step over-the-shoulder videos on how to do everything, and everything in the actual course is going to be backed up and supported by a video in further detail. So nothing's like, you know, I'm reading directly off the course type of thing, but I'm building on what I've written in the course and now putting it in a dialect version of a video for those people who prefer to learn, you know, visually and through the ear. You're going to have access to the course and updates for life. So this is a one-time thing. You know, it's not something that you pay for monthly. This isn't a subscription. I don't believe in that. I believe if you're willing to put in the work, then you should deserve to pay a one-time thing. You know, if you're willing to invest and put in the work, here it is, one-time thing, get it going. You're going to get an A to Z. I'm going to hold your hand through the entire process of building your brand, guys. Literally an A to Z, from idea to selling your shirts and everything in between. And then you're also going to get the best ways to market your brand and make it go global. I'm going to show you how to market, how to advertise, how to set up social medias, what are some great ways to market, everything. And so the total value for that is $2,000, a little over $2,000. And that's not all. we've taken it a step further, and I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in. So I'm throwing in some bonuses into the actual course. And so bonus number one is, listen to this, because this I had to sit down with David and talk about it, because we wanted to we wrote this a long time ago, and we wanted to make this special. So we decided, you know what? Only the people who will have access to the course, who are serious about building their own brand and making it happen for themselves, are going to have access to this. And so what the first bonus is a never before seen detailed history of entrepreneur and our first months in business. And so what this includes is sales numbers. Every single dollar that we made in sales for our first months in business, it's going to have the history of released designs. So, our first 3 designs released. Okay, this month, September, we released this design. It sold this much. And then the second half of the month, we released this accessory and it did this much. And then, this month we finished and we started off with this many in sales. And then it's also going to have stories of our upbringing. It's going to have a story of our first sale. It's going to have a story, of our first retail location that we officially closed and got our clothing into. It's going to have a bunch of great content that I know you guys are going to find entertaining, and it'll give you guys not a baseline, but it'll give you guys an idea of how things should be moving if you're putting in that work. And we put a value of $1,000 on this just because we wanted to make it special. And like I said, only the people who take action and get access to the course are going to have this content. It's not going to be released anywhere else. And that's it. It's exclusive. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And bonus number 2 is my very own template of what to look for when you're outsourcing for a printer for your t-shirts. And so there's a specific template that I like to use that pretty much will weed out every single printer that wouldn't be compatible with your brand visions and the future plans you have for your brand in terms of like printing quality, printing designs, printing different types of ink and all that stuff. And so it's a template that I've set up for you that will help you pretty much send, I guess, you can even use it to send a mass email to, say, 30 printers. So all you're going to have to do is get the emails of 30 printers, the contact information of like 30, 40 printers, and then set that template up and then just send them to all of them. It's that easy. And this has helped us tremendously, find the printer for us, for ourselves. And so we valued that at, it's a pricey $1,300. And so, but it's a bonus. Like keep in mind, we're throwing all these bonuses in there for you. That's how special I wanted to make it. And then the third bonus is a step-by-step guide to setting up wholesale distribution. And by the way, guys, this is what will be the future of your business in terms of scaling your company, potentially to the millions, like brands like Diamond or brands like Crooks and Castles, or any of these other brands, California Republic or Primitive Apparel, or any of these brands achieve their level of successes, and not only through the social media and like getting their name out there, but wholesale distribution also played a major part in there, because at that point, if you're closing wholesale accounts all over the country and potentially overseas internationally, you are now being put on the main stage of globality. Like if you're in a store in Ireland, everyone who walks in that store is going to see your brand and be like, "Oh, entrepreneur, who are these guys? What are they up to? Or what are they about?" So bonus number 3 is a step-by-step guide to setting up the wholesale distribution, and what are some of the most important things that you should do when striving to close those wholesale distribution channels. And that has a $600 value. And so you guys know, I understand that even if you're willing to take the action, sometimes, it just doesn't work out, or sometimes, chance or whatever it is. Guys, I want you to know that if you decide today to change your life, if you decide today to take that leap of action and faith in yourself, there is a guarantee. And if this workshop doesn't help you understand the apparel industry and how it works over the next 14 days, I'll personally refund your money. Me, Andres Ocampo, I will personally refund every single penny. It's a satisfaction guarantee, 100% money back guarantee. So, guys, there's no risk involved. It's changing your future with no risk. And like I said, if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, 14 days, guaranteed, I will personally refund your money. So rest be assured, there's no excuse. Like I said in the beginning, my goal is to literally leave you with no excuses. And I dare someone to say any type of excuse that wants to be discredited, because I'm literally giving you everything that I have, the guarantee, everything. There's no excuse. So just a little recap of what you're going to get, guys. I want to give it to you, the bigger picture. You're going to get 40 HD videos. You're going to get a step-by-step over-the-shoulder video content of me walking you through everything. You're going to get access to the course and updates for life. It's a one-time thing. You don't have to pay any monthly. You don't have to pay anything. It's not a subscription. It's a one-time thing. You're going to get an A to Z of the entire process of building your brand, from nothing to the end, from an idea to selling your shirts and everything in between. I'm going to give you that. You're going to get the best ways to market your brand and make it go global. You're also going to get first month's numbers and starts and releases, like I spoke about, the detailed history of entrepreneur, our first few months in business, our sales numbers, everything we released, what we did to advertise, to market, everything is going to be in there. You can model it however you wish. You're going to get your outsourcing printing template that you can send to all the printers that you've gathered and their contact information, and you can start weeding them out as soon as possible. And you're also going to get the insight on how to set up a wholesale distribution channel and how to get those wholesale distributors. And so this is a total value of $5,000. So guys, everything you're getting here that's worth $5,000, I'm going to tell you how much it is. $197. I told you guys, I've literally put it on the plate for you. So get started now. I'm telling you, the last 8 months of work, I'm so excited for this. Like, I want you guys to see what I've been working on, see everything that I've put my last 8 months into. And here it is. It's just $197 with a 14-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, you don't learn anything, no problem. No questions asked. I'll completely refund you. So if you guys are interested, secretentourage.com clothing. Go to secretentourage.com/clothing. It's $197. That's nothing. If you guys have jobs, like at my server job, I make $197 in one shift. And honestly, if I was one of you and I was in my predicament, I would do this, no brainer. So guys, you have two choices. Listen to me very closely. This is important. You have two choices. You can either, one, invest in yourself, keyword invest. You're not going to the club. You're not spending $197 on drinks. You're investing in a full course that it's a blueprint. You can either invest in yourself and get started so that you can get results in the next 60 days if you put in the work, like I said, or you have your other choice, and that's you can end this webinar now, go to bed, and tomorrow do the exact same shit that you have been doing this whole entire time, like going back to your boring day job. And I don't say that, passive aggressively, but I really wish, and I detail this in the course in the beginning, I really, really wish that I had someone, and I don't say this like egotistically, but I really wish that I had someone to show me the way or even come close to it. And so I feel like it was my duty to become that person. And so that's why I created this guide for you guys. And that's why I created this full-fledged course with the help of Secret Entourage to bring this to you guys. And here it is. So those are your two choices. You can invest in yourself now and make it happen and take action and get results in the next 60 days, or you can exit this and you can, go do whatever it is you were doing. And so here it is, guys. Without further ado, the reward. For those of you who stuck around, here's how to get the free t-shirt giveaways that I promised you. There's a little link right here. It's completely free. There's 3 shirts that we're giving out. Go to bit.ly/t-shirt bonus. Start getting it now. Get it in, so we can get those shirts to you as soon as possible. So here it is, guys. It's 197. If you guys are interested, let's start building that empire for you. Let's start building those dreams. Let's start getting you on the path to financial freedom, and ultimately, being your own CEO, being your own boss, and leading your own life. So if you guys are interested, secretentourage.com, once again, /clothing. And it's just 197, guys. 197. So do you guys have any questions? Give me questions. I'm gonna exit right here so I can look at the chat.
Andres, I'll pop back on in here and DJ them for you, so you don't have to worry about reading through, because they're going to come in probably pretty quick.
Cool.
Guys, everybody, just so you know, people are asking how long this offer lasts. The countdown timer there is for this webinar specifically, but this pricing in this link is going to be good for 5 days. That's the launch price for this course. You guys took the time to sit with us and be on the webinar and listen to what Andres had to say, so you're getting rewarded with a discount on the course. It's usually double the price, and that's what it'll be on the front end of the site. But for you guys, again, these next 5 days, it's 197. So I'm going to take a look through your questions here and ask them to Andres one by one. And if you asked a bad question, I'm going to skip it, so don't be sad. Just write a better one. And we're going to go ahead. So let's find a good question here. Actually, this was one that came up earlier that I want to ask you, Andres, because I think it's really important message. The question was, how do you make celebrities wear your clothing? But I think the better wording of that question is, how did celebrities discover your brand?
Cool. So it was actually really interesting because there was 2 ways that celebrities discovered our brand. One of the ways was through our social media marketing. Getting these posts out to such a high number of people. And then the second way was we actually, one of our first retail locations that we started selling at was in downtown Miami. It's a store called Foot Soldiers, FTSLDRS, Foot Soldiers. And we ended up closing that account with them, and we stocked up a huge section of the store with all of our clothing. And in the course, like I said, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to walk you step by step on how to close these wholesale distributor accounts. And so we ended up closing that. And for example, celebrities, I think Flo Rida walked in there one day, or I think it was his manager, Flo Rida, walked in and he bought a bunch of clothes. And the owner of the store is cool with Flo Rida's manager. So whatever, he sold him the shirts, and then 2-3 weeks later, Flo Rida was Stan Lee, the legendary Stan Lee, rocking our logo tee. And then Nicky Jam walked into the store one day actually, and he was there with his own manager, and they ended up buying like every shirt and every one of their sizes. And so ever since, that was maybe like 6 months ago, Nicky Jam, I think he just released a music video off of his new album, wearing the Entrepreneur snapback, or classic snapback. And that video got like 15 million views in I think only like 2 weeks. So that was a major one for us. And like I said, guys, at the end of the day, if you create these amazing designs and you create great content, celebrities are going to buy it either way. People are going to buy it either way. They're going to find the interest. They're going to resonate with it, and they're going to buy it. So I think that's
so. Just to clarify, Andres, you didn't solicit these celebrities. Like, you weren't pounding on Nicky Jam's door, like tweeting him and DMing him and saying, "Hey, bro, wear my clothes." They found you through your ability to get into the boutique stores in Miami.
Exactly. We have never paid anyone. We've never even, reached out to any celebrities and be like, hey, this is our brand. We've never done anything in hopes of getting a celebrity to rock our brand. We've simply just created that following on social media and then later close these wholesale distributor accounts with stores.
So there's a lot of people asking about the trademark process and issue in general. To kind of summarize all these, when do you think it's appropriate to trademark your brand? Is it something they should do right away or wait a little while? And do you recommend that everybody trademark, or do you think it's just for specific cases?
Okay, so the way it works is, and I detail this very detailed in the guide, but first you want to figure out how you want to file your company as, and then once you're done with that, I walk you pretty much through the steps on how you should trademark your company. But to give you a general idea, I suggest that we didn't trademark entrepreneur until 3 or 4, maybe even 5 or 6 months down the line. And we delayed on that for a while simply because we just didn't want to invest the capital in it. But the number one thing I recommend you guys do is start your brand, file your brand, get selling. You want to get selling. You want to get that income. You want to get those sales. And when it makes sense for you financially, once you're past the proof of concept stage, I guess you could say, that's when you can start investing capital into like the legalities of stuff like trademarking or copywriting. Because you don't want to, just invest $500, $600, $700 straight off the bat when you're not even selling, right? You don't want to tie up capital like that.
And I believe too, there's you have some legal ground to stand on if you start operating under a name and you trademark it later. If you can prove that you were the first one to use it, you're protected legally to some extent. So that's something to think about to save people some money too. So the next question I saw that I thought was really interesting and something to touch on was, did your family and friends support you and David kind of taking all of your money / going into debt to do this, or was there pushback? Was there anybody who was behind you, or was it, how'd that go?
Hell no. I still think there's a shit ton of doubters out there, but the absurd amount of people who didn't believe in us, or like me specifically in the beginning, like even my own mom didn't believe in me. And it sucks, it hurts to say that, but even my own mom didn't believe in me when it came to first starting the brand. It was kind of like, oh, okay, that's cute. Everyone, starts their own brand or whatever, but no one believed in us. So we kind of just said, screw it, screw everyone. And we kind of just did it anyways. And, a few months down the line, it was, everyone saying, wow, okay, so how much did you do in sales this month? Like, wow, I just saw, Nicky Jam wear your hat in his new music video. And then slowly but surely, everyone just started switching sides. So that was pretty cool.
So Dante and Yen both asked, how do you know how many sizes of, each shirt to purchase? So how do you know like how many mediums, larges, extra larges, stuff like that, especially for people that are on a budget and aren't really sure, they don't want to be sitting on inventory, but they want to make sure they're getting stuff that sells.
Right. Okay, so that's actually a huge part in the course. And the way I'll put it simple for you guys now, not as in detail, but simply the way it works is there's different kinds of ratio systems that you can use. So for example, like, not to sound stereotypical or anything, but in different parts of the world, you're going to have, smaller, like a smaller size demographic. So like, like I said, I don't want to sound ignorant or anything, but typically in Asia, you're going to have smaller sizes or predominantly smaller sizes of like, shirt sizes or pant sizes or everything like that. So for example, like here in the US, the typical go-to ratio is the 1-2-2-1 rule. It's the 1-2-2-1 rule. And the way it works is for every small you order, you're going to order 2 medium, 2 large, and then 1 extra large. And that being said, medium and large are typically, the most popular sizes. So that's why it's called the 1-2-2-1 rule. And that's the way, there's different ratios, and I explained that in the guide. But typically here in the US, it's a 1-2-2-1.
So David's asked this a couple times, and I know I told you I'd get to it, buddy. How do you get away with kind of riffing on other people's logos? Like you have the motivated shirt that kind of has the M3 style and the Maserati, Trident and all that. Are you worried about legal issues with that, or how did you guys approach
So
that whole thing?
I mean, obviously you don't want to go and start, just copy and pasting logos and all of that. So the way we did it was we took a strategic approach to utilizing all these logos. And the way we did it is there's subtle differences in all the logos that we use, to the point where the logo has been changed enough so that there's no legal issues behind it. Obviously, you want to study the trademarks and you want to study, all the copyrights behind these logos, so that once you understand everything, you can start being creative with it. But that's the way we've managed to do it. We've never had any problems whatsoever. We've never gotten any cease and desists. Like I said, the logos are altered enough so that no one can really say anything about it. But like I said, you just want to have those precautions set in place.
Zach and Samir both asked, to some degree, do you test your designs before you take them live to see if people will buy them, especially in the earlier stages, or did you just kind of go live and hope they were good enough?
So in the earlier stages, funny enough, we weren't as experienced to test the designs, and there's no shame in saying it. But there's been designs that we've put out, from the beginning that completely flopped. We didn't really sell much of them. It might have taken a few months, 4 or 5 months to sell all of them, and we just simply never redo them. But essentially, in the beginning, how we would do it was we would kind of just like come up with a design. We would send it to all our friends and family members, get input on it. Like, oh, is this design cool? Here's a different version. Here's a different rendering of it. What are your thoughts? Which one's the best? And once we have a collective vote on that, we kind of just put it out and then just debut it right away. And that's how we've been doing it from the beginning.
Derek asked, and I think I know the answer to this question, but I want to ask it anyway, just to kind of put it out there. When's the right time to hire somebody to get on the phone and do your customer service and kind of handle the day-to-day things that take up a lot of time? Are you guys even at that point yet?
No, we're not at that point, but yes, we do know how we're going to handle it. As of now, we're not large enough to, start paying someone or outsourcing an assistant to handle all of our customer service or anything like that. I know David Wong Kay made up a good point. For those who don't know, David Wong Kay is the CEO and founder of Pure Tropics. It's a skincare company. The way he does it, and the way a lot of other people do it is they go on these outsourcing platforms and websites like Upwork, and they simply hire a fluent, English speaker from a different country to just handle all the work for you. And so they literally minimize your workload by tremendous amounts. And that's how we plan on doing it in the future once we've outgrown ourselves.
So I know you don't do things this way, but Samir asked a couple of times about using Shopify and Printful together. Do you have any thoughts on the pros and cons of taking that route with the automatic fulfillment?
Yeah, of course. So when it comes to like printing on demand, I would say run away as fast as you possibly could. People like Printful or just services in general that do printing on demand, or printing on the spot, made to go, I guess you could say. Usually, the quality is typically horrible. For lack of a better word, it just doesn't come out good. There's no like personal communication between you and the printer. And the only reason why these companies are even alive is simply because they're just so big that they can already offer a service like that, and they'll already get automatic business. But I'd probably say stay away. But as far as Shopify or like any of these website building platforms, I know I covered in the course, but I don't know if I don't understand. I don't think. Can you clarify just to make sure if he was asking about Shopify like printing on demand, or was he actually asking about the actual platform?
Yeah, he said Shopify plus Printful, and I know Printful's a print-on-demand service. I imagine they have some kind of deal with Shopify where it's a plug-and-play start a clothing company. But
Oh, okay.
I want to
So
get your
yeah,
take on,
I
on
don't
just
really
that in
have
general.
knowledge on the Shopify plug and play. for printing, but I'd probably just assume that it's like, you know, all these print on demand companies. So I'd probably stray away from that.
So real quick, I'm going to pop in here. I want to ask the attendees here who are still hanging out, who's in, you know, who's got the course, who's ready to rock. You know, let us know. Just say I'm in the chat box here. And while we're saying that, I'll answer a couple questions about the course. Someone asked if it was like a downloadable zip file or what. It's actually hosted, Dominic, inside of the Secret Entourage platform. So it's mobile friendly. You can log in from wherever you have an internet connection, watch it on your phone, watch it on your computer. You can view all the content that way. So it's not a downloadable ticket with you type of thing. Oh, look at all this. Dan's in, Ibrahim's in, Noah's in, Fernando's in, Samuel's in, James, Abe. This is awesome. Who's on the fence? I think Andres needs to talk to you guys. You know, if you're on the fence, let us know and why. German, no, it does not come with a Secret Entourage membership. So who's on the fence? If you're on the fence, let us know. Ask a question. Derek, you're on the fence. Why?
Talk to me, Derek, guys. Talk to me.
Return policy, Derek, is 14-day money back guarantee. No questions asked. You have 2 weeks. That's enough time to go through the content and decide if this is for you.
If you guys are on the fence, say on the fence and drop, you know, your concerns, your comments. Let's talk, guys. I want to make sure all your doubts are covered. Anything that's on your mind, let's talk about it.
Cole brought up an interesting question. You know, we can face this head on. I don't see why this needs to be monetized. Frankly, Cole, if we wanted to monetize and charge a bunch of money for it, we could. If we wanted to charge $2, $3, $4, $5 grand, and there are people who would pay that, and you know, Secret would make more money, I'm sure. The reason we have to charge something, there's 2 reasons in my mind. One, people don't value what they don't pay for. Like it or not, if we put this out for free, no one would take action. No one would start a business. You know, very, very few would do anything with it. And, you know, on the second side of that, the shit costs money to do. You know, it's not free to host a website and host a course and record the videos. And, you know, while guys like myself and Andres and Pejman are entrepreneurs in our own right, and we make good money, we still have to pay videographers and editors and web guys and all that stuff. So, you know, we're trying to cover our costs here and bring you guys a very high quality product at the same time. If you want it for free, then do the research yourself. It's one payment of $200. If that's not worth the information that's inside to you, you don't have to buy it. And that's why we're here doing this Q&A for free. So Adam brought up a good one. Andres, I want you to address this because I think that we talked about this before and you kind of had similar fears before you started your business. But Adam said, I'm on the fence for sure. I'm always afraid I want to have the technical skills to run a business. I don't want to get stuck with inventory that no one buys and then be stagnant altogether. So can you address that concern?
Sure. So Adam, it's simple. When you talk about, you know, being on the fence about, you know, tying up your capital, the way we did it was we found an entrepreneur with $3,000. I can confidently say that you can start up your own brand with a fraction of that, maybe a third, maybe even less. If you play your cards right and you do everything savvy and do everything smart, then you can definitely get that brand up and going for very little. And honestly, the only things you pay is producing your clothing. You might have to pay some website hosting. There's platforms that are all inclusive, but necessarily you're not going to be investing a lot of money. And obviously in the course I talk about printers and their minimum order quantities and all that. But a general rule, some printers will go down to a minimum of shirts. Some do 24 shirts. So at the end of the day, you know, if you're paying, I don't know, in such small quantities, I don't know, $10, $12 a shirt, you're going to be tying very little money, even in the production of the shirts. So remember, you can always sell the shirts and the shirts will sell eventually. So, you know, it's not about having technical skills. It's just about having the commitment to put everything in towards selling that initial batch of shirts and then flipping that and reinvesting that money back into the company so you could keep expanding.
So Nads asked, could I work part time and build a business on the side, or do you think you need to quit your job and dedicate 100% of your time to this?
So Neds, let me tell you something, man. We started Entrepreneur 18 months ago. I am still a server at a restaurant. I'm still serving food part time. I'm working like 30, 40 hours a week, dude. Um, and honestly, it's just, you just have to put in the work. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to dedicate 100% of your time to building a company. You just have to be smart enough to diversify your time and just not give up. And when shit doesn't look like it's going your way, you just have to keep going, man. You just have to keep going. I'm still serving food to this date. My goal is to not serve anymore by the end of this year. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm committed to keep scaling the company and then no longer have to, work to pay all my needs and then have, entrepreneur support David and I both financially.
So Giovanni said, I'm on the fence. How can I successfully launch a social media brand like Entrepreneur? That's an interesting perspective, seeing you guys as a social first brand as opposed to a clothing brand. But what are your thoughts on that?
Right. So that's a great way that you framed that question, Giovanni. We did start off on social media, and the only reason why we're here today is because of social media, and we've built that audience on social media and drive, the traffic through social media. But the way I lay everything out in the guide in the course, but the way that we did it was great content, um, be authentic. That's the number one thing. You want to be authentic and you don't want to steal other people's context because as soon as that happens, people know people, people follow other people. As soon as they see you steal content, you've already automatically lost a follower and word gets out quick. So be authentic and don't steal content. I think those are the two main points in building a social media brand like Entrepreneur.
So Paul asked, he said, I'm on the fence. I'm Canadian. I just lost my job and I'm watching my money. Totally understandable. If I was to purchase this as a Canadian, would he be able to do everything that you're teaching in the course, or are there differences between Canada and US?
Absolutely, 100%. And that's a great question, dude. Thanks for asking that. Um, this course isn't set up to specifically work in the United States. Um, there's nothing that is limiting you to the United States. I think the only thing in the actual course that you would have to research, yourself would be like filing your company, like in terms of an LLC or a sole proprietorship or anything like that. But everything else, remember that everything is built in the social realm or like the internet realm. So hosting your website is pretty much the same. Outsourcing is pretty much the same. Finding printers, all the same. Starting, your social media accounts, all the same. So there's absolutely, actually, there's no barriers in terms of being in a different country outside of the U.S. For the guys. So it's, I guess you could say it's generic for any place.
Just want to thank Dominic real quick. He said, okay, so I just bought it, guys. Awesome investment, extremely detailed content. And I agree, Andres, you really should be proud of what you put together here. This is worth far, far more than what we're charging. Also, thank you to Jacob, James, Ibrahim, Brandon, Jason, Noah, Joe, Tom, Brian, and Dan, who are already in, which is just so awesome, guys. I'm super stoked for you.
Guys, thank you so much. You have no idea how much this means to me, guys. The work I've put into this. Uh, just please, all I ask is please take action and talk to me. You guys know how to find me. Find me if there's anything you want to ask me. For those who have bought into the course, let me know. I'll be happy to walk you through anything.
So, Andres, this is a question I'm kind of seeing a bunch from people on the fence and people asking, um, just regular questions. And uh, I want to bust the myth here that you need to get all your clothes from one place. So they're asking, where do I get clothes? Do I outsource them to like China or Mexico? Do I look in the U.S.? Do I go on Alibaba? What's your take on where they should be sourcing the clothes that they're going to produce? And do you think that they have to be from one specific source for everything that you're making?
Okay, so in the guide, I talk about it in a lot of detail, but to keep it short and sweet, When you're starting off, I highly recommend not outsourcing for like overseas manufacturers simply because the communication time between you and these manufacturers is just like too lengthy and it's back and forth, back and forth. And for example, if you're trying to source something on Alibaba, which I cover in the guide on how to do it properly, if you're starting off and you have no shirts whatsoever and you're trying to look for shirts on Alibaba, and let's say you find a supplier, you order some shirts, you spend X amount of money and the shirts don't come out how you want them to be. Now you're stuck in a predicament because now you've tied up the money and then you have to get back to the supplier, and they might not speak your language, and then it's trying to convey what it is you're actually looking for as opposed to what you got. So the way I put it in the guide is, number one, you always want to start off with blanks. And what I mean by blanks is, in the guide I talk a lot about what are the most common brands. I'll give you two. Like there's All Style and there's like Gildan. Those are, I guess, like the most common brands. So there's blanks out there, brands that will produce these blanks for you. And then what you see is what you get. You can always order one single shirt of that blank, of that design, and then check it out for yourself. And just remember that with growth will also come outsourcing and cut and sew manufacturing, custom pieces where you send like blueprints to overseas manufacturers and all that. That'll all come with growth. So I keep it short. I just recommend starting with blanks and then moving on as you grow.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, I think I cut out for a second there. Next question is from Nate, and he said, "Do you recommend digital printing, screen printing, a mix of the two? What's your preferred method of actually like getting your content onto a shirt?" Hey guys, sorry, it looks like Andres' microphone dropped off here. Oh, I see it pop back up. You there, buddy?
Oh
Maybe he's
yeah, I'm
out.
here. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Sorry about the technical issues, everybody. We're back here. So go ahead and answer that question again. It was about screen printing versus digital
Digital printing.
printing. And also, guys, just to let you know, we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. If you're on the fence and you still have questions, let us know if you're on the fence. Let us know what your concerns are, and then we're going to wrap it up. Nate, we're going to get back to your question right now: digital printing versus screen printing. Andres, go ahead.
Cool. Yeah. So Nate, I'd definitely recommend screen printing 100% of the time right off the bat. I'd probably say stay away from digital printing only because it's low quality. So traditionally, screen printing is still used by all the high fashion brands. So even on brands, like Louis Vuitton or Gucci or Prada, all these brands are still using screen printing. Yeah, I'd probably just stay away from digital printing overall, just because it's low quality. Digital printing is good. It can be used for samples and like one pieces to give you an idea of how things might look in the end, or you know what I mean. But for actual mass production, I'd say 100%. I wouldn't probably. I'd go with screen printing for sure.
Dante asked a couple of times that this is included if you're an Academy member. This is not included in the Academy. This is totally separate, standalone course. There are some people who are in the Academy who don't want this. There are some people who want this that don't want to be in the Academy, so we are not handcuffing the two together. Alex asked a really good question, and I think we'll wrap it up on this because you were kind of in similar shoes. Alex says, I'm under 18, so I can't really start a business until July, when I imagine his birthday is. Is there anything I can do to prepare?
Absolutely. I've always, I've always told other people, age is just a number. But I would say for all the legal issues and all, the trademarking stuff and the filing of your company, I'm not entirely sure if you have to be 18, but let's just assume you do. You can do every single other thing in the course besides all the legal matters. So you can start your social media, you can start building a following, you can start sourcing manufacturers, you can start sourcing for printers, you can start marketing and advertising once you already have your samples or your first batch of shirts. You can do everything but the legal stuff. Remember, the only time age comes into play is through legal matters. So you can do everything. You can do everything minus the legal stuff. Don't let that limit you.
And Zach also asked, you're selling offline in boutique stores and you're selling online through your website. Can you share like roughly the ratio of sales between the two? All right, sorry guys. Looks like we lost Andres' mic again, but we made it through a solid, 90 minutes
Yeah, I'm
here.
back.
Oh, you're back. All
Let
right,
me just You want me to just answer this question and we can wrap it up?
go for it, brother.
Sorry about that, guys. All right, so the answer is right now we're doing 95 roughly direct to consumer. 95% of our sales are direct to consumer, and then 5% of our sales are actually coming from our wholesale accounts, our retail locations. I would say my one piece of advice right now would be is worry about selling above all else. Sell, sell, sell. Don't worry about legal shit. Don't worry about closing those wholesale accounts. Wholesale is slowly dying, but it is still strong in some places. Like printables are dying out, but if you build that social brand and that direct consumer brand, it would be much, much, much easier, and it would facilitate not only closing these wholesale accounts, but also getting those wholesale accounts to buy from you because your clothing is selling in their stores, simply because you've already built that brand presence online. So I'd just focus, worry more about direct to consumer unless you have massive volume to supply massive chains, which comes with growth. At the end of the day, it'll come with growth.
Awesome. Andres, thank you so much for your time. I hope everybody in the room who stayed till the end really got a ton of value out of it. Where can people find you to see more about Entrepreneur and what you guys are doing and, stay connected with you?
No problem. So you guys can find me, and I'll put this in the chat once I'm done. So once I already tell you where you can find me, I'm gonna type it up in the chat so you guys can find it there. You can find us online at our actual website at www.entrprnr.co. That's www.entrprnr.co. And doing a quick little thank you guys to show a token of my appreciation for all you that have stayed until the end. And I'm going to put this in the chat, so stick around. You guys can have a 20% off discount for anything in the store. And the coupon code is special20, special20 for Entrepreneur. If you're looking for us on Instagram or Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us at ENTRPRNRCO, Entrepreneur Co. And if you want to find me, I guess on my personal, you can find me at king.ocampo, OCAMPO. And I'm going to type that up in the chat right here. So, guys, if you have any questions, you can go on our website, shoot us an email through our contact us page, or you can even shoot us an email at info@entrepreneur.com, whatever it is you want to do. And I'm typing that up in the chat right now.
And guys, in case you want to check out the course and really learn how to build your clothing brand from scratch, Andres literally holds your hand through every step of the process. It's insane. The link is secretentourage.com/clothing. And shout out to Shar for staying up in London until 3:28 a.m. Good for you. Have a pint.
My man.
And, get some rest. That's awesome.
Thanks, guys, so much for being here. I appreciate everything you guys have done. And I hope, for those who buy into the guide, I hope you really draw value from it.
Thanks everybody for coming out. We appreciate it.